Hey guys, just want to welcome you back for another quick little video. And today I'm just sharing with you another stash busting project. And I'll probably pop up and do a few more videos like this. I can't show everything that I'm doing, up on YouTube. I wouldn't have time to film everything and get it up for content. But I'm trying to use these moments in addition to the Bust Your Stash series with my friend Dawn over at Shiny Silver Treasures to keep you motivated, to help you remember. Just go through your craft room. There's always something that's lying around that we meant to get to or we haven't got to yet, or, whatever the situation may be. And just to encourage you to dig in there, take out some of the older stuff and use it up. I know we have the tendency to hoard, especially the stuff that we like. So I just want to come on periodically and just kind of help keep you motivated, because it really has been so satisfying. Dawn and I say that, I think, just about every time we're chatting. And I'm pretty sure we say it in all the videos as well. We started this to motivate us and to keep us focused on using up stuff we have, but we also wanted to share it with you guys to kind of help get you motivated. And, think of it as like a year-long spring cleaning. And, this is probably the only kind of spring cleaning that I enjoy, is using stuff up off of my shelf, laundry and all the other stuff. Yeah, not so much. But in any case, so I just wanted to share with you, like I said, as a way to kind of help stay in contact and help keep you motivated with digging through your craft rooms. So, it's a twofer for me. It's using up stuff, but it's also getting ready for the upcoming craft season. We have one show this spring and then, our usual round in the fall. And I need to make a ton of cards. The goal is to get all my stash busting for cards done by the middle to the end of May. And then I want to try to spend the rest of the warmer months making stuff that I tend to have to do outside, doing alcohol inks, things like that, where it's warm enough I can set up out in the garage, because you really need ventilation for stuff like that. I also want to play around with quick cast resin, but because it's cold, I really can't do it outside yet, and I definitely can't do it in my craft room. It's too small. I would totally gag myself on smelly stuff. So that's why I'm trying to be strategic, so it's also another little side tip. If you do crafting and you have shows and stuff like that, and you want to get a wide mix, something to think about is targeting the colder months, depending on where you live, doing like the paper crafting, and then use the outside time when it's warmer for doing things that are smelly that you might not be able to do in your craft room. So anyway, just a little side tip. So what I did is, I didn't actually plan to do this. I just was finished with a few projects I had wrapped up, got filming done that were uploaded. They'll be coming up in the next little while on YouTube. You'll see it's a small series of videos doing different things. But I got done, I cleaned everything up, and I said, let me just pull out this pad. And I like making the vintage, like 50s models or the vintage clothes images and stuff like that. And I like pairing it with Tim Holt's Snarky Chat. So that's what I did here. I just pulled out what I had. I had a pack and a half of the In Vogue collection by Cartabella, and I had also picked up the Metropolitan Girl by Cartabella. And like I said, I had 1.5 packs of this and only one of that. Once I got done, I didn't use a lot of the stickers. I was kind of surprised, because normally I plow through them, but I went in a little bit of a different direction. And I only have 3 full sheets left of the Metropolitan, and I have 11 sheets between the two kits for the In Vogue. So I used a lot, and then you can see here, I'm not going to pull them out, so you can, but that's how many full sheets I have left, plus the sticker sheets. And then these are the remnants that I'm going to set aside. I can use them here and there throughout different projects. but I like the paper well enough. I only put the small scraps for recycle, and I'll keep the larger ones and the kind of parts that I have left. So that's what I use. That's what I was working on. So I think of it as the vintage snarky chat is the style. And I made them all birthday cards. Some had the sentiments on the outside that I needed to use up. I had some pre-stamped ones that I had done that I wanted to finish. And I used those, and then the rest of them were stamped happy birthday on the inside. So let me get into that really quick. I'll do a quick flip through. When I do the bulk card making, I keep the layouts pretty simple. I don't have anything against people, or not, let me say this correctly. I don't have anything against card sketches. I know a lot of crafters use it, and that's great. Sometimes, very rarely will you catch me using them, and that may change in the future. I may get an idea and have fun and do a series using those, but for the moment, I like to do what I think of as freestyle, where I get a basic layout in my head, and then I just use that, and then by manipulating the decorations or the layers, makes them all look totally different. So that is something that I just love. I don't really set down with a theme. I don't map out exactly what I'm going to put on each card. I just basically select the category I want to work with, get out all the supplies that go with that category, and then I just sit down and go. So anyway, like I said, I'm trying to keep this a fairly short video because I will just blab on and on and on. So let me just do a quick flip through, and then I can point out, a couple of the fun ones that I liked in particular, because I like, that basic layout that I did. And okay, looking in the monitor to make sure that I'm staying in frame. That is something that is still a challenge. And it really doesn't matter how much room I have on my desk. Everything seems to drift south for me and out of camera range. So I'm trying to be very careful and pay attention to that. So again, just a really quick flip through. I started with the same premise for all of them, doing layers. But again, because of how you use embellishments or manipulating those layers is a way to make them all look completely different, even if you're using copies of elements. Like the same here. I've got a couple using this one, 2, 3, that kind of thing. It makes them look completely different. They look similar but different, if that makes sense. So again, I don't want to take too long flipping these out, but I do want to give you a chance to see all the different ways that I used the papers, the layers, and the embellishments that came in. And if you are interested, I don't know at time of filming if the card kits are still available, but I can tell you I got them all off of Amazon, so that would be a good place to go check if you're interested in the En Vogue or the Metropolitan Girl style papers. And my favorite embellishment to use was the little butterflies. These actually came from the Dollar Tree. I had a partial, and then I had picked up 2 more of these, and I've used them all up. So I basically used, I think it would be about 2.5 packs of those little butterflies. And then when I ran out, I came in with my go-to, absolutely love putting fake flowers on the cards. Now, a lot of these are going to have a lot of dimensions, so they probably wouldn't be good for mailing without extra postage, but they can be hand delivered, or you could put them in an envelope and mail them in a package. That's what I tell the clients or the customers that come to the table at the craft show. So I do try to give a variety. I know this one I'm probably a little heavier on the dimension, but I love it, and I couldn't help it. So some of these probably would just squeak by with being able to mail without any extra postage. But for the most part, a lot of these will have to go in a package, or you can just do the extra if you're not hand delivering. So hopefully this gives you, kind of a good idea Out of this run, I got 51 of the cards, and I probably could make more, but I'm trying not to get too hung up. I kind of get to a good point and then I stop, and then like I said, I just packed up what I had left that I could use later. So this is basically the quick flip through of the cards that I made. And then, like I said, you can take common elements. Let me see if I can find another one with this gal. Let me see if oh, here we go. Here's a good example where you get similar layout, and I did a lot of distressing on the edges with my scissors. I just scraped my scissors along, and I did scrape my fingers up, so be careful if you if you do that. They do have distressing tools available for that, but I don't have one. I'm always using my scissors. So I did a lot of distressing of the edges, came in with the brown ink. I used a combination of either Gather Twig, the Distress Oxide by Tim Holtz, or I used the Rich Cocoa by Memento, and that's a dye ink. One is the Distress, so it's a water reactive, just so you know if you're working with it, just be careful of any liquids so you don't reactivate it. And then the dye ink, because the Memento dries pretty quick, so I like that a lot. And just did basic things, just basic elements and layering, and then it was just moving the elements over, like, instead of putting the strip of paper in the middle, I moved it to the side, then came in with ribbon. Some of them I wrapped around the layer or used double-sided tape, in that width, matching width, to put the ribbon down, because like here I was starting to run out, so I had enough to make this strip, so I had to use the double-sided tape because I didn't have enough to wrap it around, if that makes sense. And then I put on the end, I used one of the butterflies, and then a common thing that I used once I started using it, I fell in love with it. I started using these gold flat-backed pearl gems to do just that little bit of embellishment. And like I said, just keep it simple, especially if you have to do bulk. That's what I really needed to do, because the more simple you keep it, the more simplistic, the faster you can kind of work through the process. So it was just going through, chopping up all the paper, putting the layers together. I'd put all the layers together that I thought would work, set them aside, and then the next day I came in and then I just started putting it together. The assembly time probably all total took about 10 to 12 hours divided between a couple days. And not too bad as things go, but like I said, I've got so much I've got to do. It's impossible to get all that footage edited down and up on YouTube while still working and, all the other things that I need to work on as well. So just trying to be strategic so that way I'm sharing content, like I said, really hoping to help keep you going with your stash busting, because 51 cards now, and I should not have to make any more for the spring show or the fall. Of course, if they all go to Happy Homes, I'll start all over, sure. But, I'm trying to think ahead and have everything ready as much as possible, so then in the summer I can maximize the warm temperatures to do the smelly stuff outside in the garage. So like I said, just keeping it very basic, similar themes by adding just a few different embellishments makes it look completely different. And the nice thing, one final tip before I go off here and go to the next thing, signing off here, and then I'll see you in the next one, is adding the look of extra layers or dimension without actually having it. That's the benefit of running with the distressed edges, or even just inking it makes it look like there's more layers than what might actually be there, if that makes sense. I really, really like that a lot. It's a way to keep the cards from being too tall when you're making things that you definitely need to be sure that can get mailed, if that makes sense. Like this, I just went with it. But if I needed all of these to be flat per se and didn't use any super duper dimension on there, then that's an easy way to make it look like there's a lot of layers, even if there's not. So stressing the edges or even just inking, you know, that is a quick and effective way to make you look more dimensional. And yeah, so I think I covered all the things that I wanted to. Like I said, it was just a fun little video I wanted to pop up to help encourage you to keep going with your stash busting. And yeah, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And it's a good way to keep things flowing in your craft room and keeping things moving. So then, you know, when you go out and you find new papers, then you don't have to worry you've got that set of old papers that you've been waiting to use that you didn't. You know, you can just keep everything going, keep everything fresh. And it's also more cost effective too. Obviously, you know, we could probably spend thousands of dollars without a thought in getting craft supplies, but this is a good way to not dip into that rabbit hole. So using all the pretty stuff we already have makes way for being able to go out and get more pretty stuff without flooding your craft room. So all right, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Hopefully you guys are stash busting. The next stash busting video for Bust Your Stash with Dawn and Rachel will be coming out in April. If you've missed this month's, I will try to remember to link them either with the video thing at the end or in the description. So definitely check those out. And if you need the motivation, please feel free to rewatch our series as many times as you want to. So in the meantime, I believe this has come out on Easter, so happy Easter if you celebrate. Happy holidays to whichever holiday you may be celebrating. Take care, stay safe, and I will definitely be seeing you in the next video.